Where do I even start? So, firstly, it's the day after possibly the worst day of being a Palace supporter for a long, long time. It's the day that Wilfred Zaha has officially announced that he has left Crystal Palace, and I'm hurting. I'm hurting. But the reality is, I've been calling for it. I've seen it. I've seen this day coming over the last 2, 3 months. To be fair, I'm not surprised that he's gone. If he wants to move on with his career, if he wants Champions League football, if he wants to, get more money, Galatasaray, I mean, they could offer him all of that, and the fact they're offering what 8 mil a year, I mean, no wonder Wilf went over there and didn't sign a new contract with us because that's more than what we were originally going to offer him over a space of a year. But the harsh reality is, it's the best for him. It could potentially be the best for the club going forward. I know it's hard to say, and I know Palace fans won't admit that, but that might be the truth. That might be the truth. You could say this might help with us focusing on our future, but yeah, I get why Palace fans are finding it hard to admit that and to say that, because right now it's not looking all good. It's kind of looking like all doom and gloom, in my opinion. Not many signings at all, apart from Jefferson Lerma, and that was done back in May. We haven't even splashed out a penny. And you got clubs like Everton who have got more players than we have, Luton who have bought more players than we have, whether it's for money, free transfers or loans. It's just not on really, is it? Now, let's go back to the Wilfred Zaha thing, and that, of course, this is why I'm doing this video, obviously. Now, he's a legend. He's the GOAT. He's one of the greatest Palace players that I've ever seen play. He's my favourite Palace player of all time, of course, and that as well. The fact I could say I've seen a player of his calibre play constantly week in, week out, when obviously he was at Palace. Now, obviously, he's gone, of course. He was a phenomenal player. Top goals, always pulling us out of the hat. And if it wasn't for him, we would have been relegated 4 or 5 years ago from the Premier League, in my opinion. He has kept us where we are now for another season, for our 10th year in the Premier League, our 11th consecutive season in the Premier League, and that as well. Guy has been absolutely phenomenal for us when he was playing. The guy, it will always be a legend. He's going to be an idol. He inspired so many others. He inspired so many fans. And yeah, he was Mr. CPFC. He was the reason why. He's the reason why we were getting all our goals. He was the reason why we were always, comfortably, I'd say, safe. When it came to the end of most seasons, that guy was a phenomenal player. Over the years, and that he's been the talisman, of course, and we have been relying on him a lot as well. I wouldn't say as much last season, but in previous years, and that, what a player. And I will always admire and be grateful for a player of that calibre, who, to actually have played for a club like Crystal Palace. He was superb. Came through the roots, rised up, got to the top. Never seen anything like it. We're never going to get that again. There's not going to be another Wilfred Zaha. There's only one Wilfred Zaha. There's not going to be no next Zaha. There's not going to be a replacement that is identically as good as Wilfred Zaha. So be grateful. Be grateful that that we had a player like that at our club, because he was phenomenal and he'll never ever be forgotten. Now, I want to talk about a few other things as well. I've been all over Twitter. Some fans weren't happy with the video he did. Could he have done a bit more of a better sending off? Yeah, probably. But listen, he wants to move on with his career. And I wasn't really as mad as other Palace fans were when he saw it, when that video got posted on his Twitter, social media, everywhere, about him saying he'll see the Galatasaray fans when he arrives in Turkey. Yeah, it was quite tough. No, it was very tough. It was very tough and hard to watch. Not the video of him on the plane. Well, that was tough as well. But the one when he was with the Galatasaray fans with a couple scarves wrapped around his neck and they were chanting his name with flares and everything, that was difficult to watch. I nearly shed a tear. I'm not even kidding. I generally did. As much as the fact I should say I've seen this day coming over the last 2 to 3 months, etc. When I saw that video, now it's become a reality that he's no longer a Palace player and he's at a different club. It hurts. It actually hurt. Just devastating. It felt like my soul being sucked out of me a bit. It feels worse than when we lost in the FA Cup final against Manchester United. It feels worse than when we got knocked out of the FA Cup semi-final last year against Chelsea. You know what I mean? It absolutely felt awful to be a Palace supporter yesterday. I've never seen the Palace fan base just kind of reacting the way they did, and they got every right to. I was pretty kind of low in that as well, and a bit sort of lost, confused, slightly baffled in a way, a tad bit, as weird as it sounds. But I think the shock of it becoming a reality that that he's gone to a different club and he's no longer a Palace star, it's quite, it's quite just a bit like miserable and kind of depressing a tad bit. But yeah, I mean, I've got, look at that. I don't know if you can see that picture just there, the big one. That is the FA Cup final squad, and the only player that's left is Joel Ward. All the other players, coaching staff, and everyone else, goalkeepers, they've all gone. All gone. The only one left is Ward. It's weird, man. It's just weird times being a Palace supporter, man. I'm absolutely just kind of in shock and just kind of can't believe it, to be fair. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's the best. I think potentially Zaha going could be the best sort of thing for us going forward in the future. Other players like Eze Raksaki can step up as well. But let's be real right now, we need to sign some players going forward. We need a centre forward, a replacement for Zaha, and if Elise does go to Chelsea, which is most likely happening, which is even going to be, which in my opinion would feel worse, especially with this 35 mil release clause rumour going around. The fact that we could sell it for 35 mil. If that did happen, we'd obviously need a replacement for him and that as well. Plus, we probably need a fullback. So we need to at least, I'd say, sign 4 to 5 players now between now and the end of the window. Question is, why didn't we act, a month ago? Why didn't we start signing and getting deals done a month ago? Why are we waiting until the last minute? But it's Palace, innit? And the reason why we're in this predicament and the reason why we're in this shitty mess is because of Steve Parish and the board. Yes, I've had enough. I'm absolutely done with it. There's basically 3 weeks before the Premier League season kicks off and we're not ready, we're not prepared, and we're all over the place. So we've been down this road so many freaking times before and it's not done us any favour at all starting a new season, and we've been slow. We just haven't kicked off well in the Premier League and it's feeling like that again. Just don't learn from their mistakes. Financial situations, scouting, not signing enough quality players. The harsh reality is, in my opinion, I don't think the squad's good enough, because the fact that Zaha's now gone, which I expected, most people expected, the fact that Elise is going to most likely be leaving as well, that squad ain't going to be good enough. That squad is going to be all over the place. That squad is going to be in the mud. That team is not good enough, in my opinion. It's not even good enough for top 15. We'll probably be fighting relegation and we're either just about going to survive for next season or go down, because things aren't looking good. It's all gone quiet with França. It's all gone quiet with the likes of, Hudson-Odoi being linked. There's rumours about Demarai Gray, but Palace fans aren't happy with Demarai Gray replacing a legend like Wilfred Zaha, and I can't lie, I'm kind of 50-50 with it. Does it sound like a panic buy? Yeah, a little bit. Could we look for better? Yeah, we could look for better, but do we have the money? I don't think we do. Is there money behind the scenes that we don't know about? Maybe there is. But what do we know? Nothing. The board haven't communicated towards the fans. It just feels flat and it feels depressing, and it just feels like the club's a pile of shit right now, in my opinion. It's just really just flat and just everything just, it's like the lights have been switched off at Palace again. That's the sad thing, and I'm just done with it, man. I'm done with it. Parish out, sack the board. I've had enough. I've just had enough. Unless we sign some players, unless we suddenly, sign a decent bunch of players, a good quality bunch of players, and that going into the new season, whether it's just a couple of weeks before, a week before, or in the season, or before deadline day. Unless we actually turn this shit around, we're not. We're not, nothing's going to change at Palace. Nothing's going to change. And this is now down to the board. It's nothing to do with the players, nothing to do with Ray Lewington, Paddy McCarthy and Roy Hodgson. This is down to Parish and the board mugging Palace off, screwing us around and taking the piss. And I don't usually come on here and speak boldly like that, but I've had enough. I'm sick of it. It just feels like this club is just going downhill and going backwards. Mr. Parish saying he's going to take the club to the next freaking level. Well done. Because you haven't done shit. I'm just going to say something about Wilfred Zaha that I've seen on Twitter as well. He's left the club, but you get Palace fans calling him a few names, swearing at him. These are the same Palace fans that went outside Selhurst Park where his painting was on the side of the house, got a picture of, going on Instagram and Twitter saying how much of a legend he is. These are the same Palace fans which sing na 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 Wilfred Zaha. These are the same Palace fans that get a picture of him and show him love. These are the same Palace fans that look up to him as a legend and an idol of Crystal Palace, when obviously, yes, he was a Palace player, and you're just going to, you know, call him names, call him a mug, etc., swearing at him, you know, messaging his family, you know, and racially abusing him. I've seen some racist abuse aimed at Wilfred Zaha. As a person of colour myself, that makes me absolutely fucking sick. That makes me absolutely fuming. That really, really just winds me up. And I'm not going to lie, some of our fans are an absolute disgrace and they're an embarrassment. Not all the Palace fans, but there's a minority that really piss me off, you know, that just, you know, at one point praising Wilf and then they're just racially abusing him next minute. Like, what's that about? You know, why is it every time that something controversial happens, there's always some jackass that's got to be racist and, you know, just takes it too far, you know? It's just, it's really just antagonising, and it really winds me up, you know. And just, I hate to say it, but it makes me, I feel embarrassed sometimes to be a Palace fan because of like that, because of jackasses like that. You just want to, you know, you just think they could say what they like and get away with it. Last words here in that, Zaha, legend, GOAT, idol, top man for CPFC. Like I said, best player that I've seen ever play for the club. Gone but never forgotten, always be remembered. And good luck with the rest of your career. I hope you win something. And yeah, do the best, man. You know what I'm saying? Always be remembered for this.